Hello, I'm Matteo, and today's video is about a product from Voltme. Voltme have sent us this REVO 140 140 watt gallium nitride or GAN charger for us to unbox and review. So today we're going to unbox and review this charger, and thanks to Voltme for sending us this review device. So first things first, I'm going to take my jerry-rig everything knife and cut open the cellophane on the packaging. It's very well packaged, and in terms of packaging, it's a cardboard box with some details on it. Obviously we know that this is the REVO 140. It's a power delivery 3.1 gallium nitride tech charger. Apparently they won the CES Innovation Awards in 2023, so well done Voltme. And then on the back we have some technical specifications, and as well as here on their Amazon listing, which we'll link to in the description, you can see the different combinations of power output from this GAN charger. The highlight here is that it outputs 140 watts from one USB Type-C port in optimal conditions, providing your cable and your other device can take that power, and then various other combinations. The great thing is that on the Voltme listing on Amazon, it has a clear diagram that puts that through. I'm going to put an overlay of that in this video so you can see it too. But let's move on and get the charger out of the box and see what's in the actual box. So, nicely designed cardboard here, and that's it. So out comes the charger itself. It has quite a bit of heft to it. And then underneath that we have a thank you card from Voltme. No, thank you Voltme for sending us this review device. And then there is also a quick welcome guide to this charger. Obviously here we are in the UK, we will be reviewing the UK plug version of the Voltme REVO 140. But depending on the market you're in, you may have different products with different plug endings. This is a non-removable plug. It's probably due to the fact that it's such high voltage and high wattage output that it needs to be put there. Anyway, let's have a look at the charger itself. As you can see, it has two USB Type-C ports and one USB Type-A port. What we're going to do now is take my AOFO charger, and you may have already spotted that in this video we have a couple of Honor devices that charge at high wattage. So I'm going to take my AOFO charger, pop the Voltme in, see if there's anything, and first things that stands out is we do have the Voltme logo lights up. That's actually very tasteful. It's not too bright, so say you put this charger in a room where you're sleeping, you won't have the effect of having a light on that lights up the room, but it's still there, that indicates that the power's on and it's working. So first up, let's take a cable, which we've already reviewed here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. It's a USB Type-C cable, which supports 100 watt charging. So you can see that this is a 100 watt power delivery cable. This is the one that we have previously reviewed here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, so I will put the link in the description to this as well. And to test this, we're going to take a 100 watt charging smartphone to see how that works. Not now. Okay then, so we've got the Honor Magic 4 Pro, which we previously reviewed here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. This device, as we saw, is capable of charging at 100 watts. So I think that's the perfect chance to put it through its first paces. So I'm going to take the end without the display of wattage on it and pop it into the first port. It's indicated as a laptop port, but essentially this is the one that potentially, in ideal conditions, will charge at the highest wattage. So the Voltme's in. As the Honor switches on, it's charging at 2 watts, as you can see here. And now that the Honor Magic 4 Pro is turning on, and therefore has more control over its charging speed, we see that the power output from the Voltme charger is now up to 9 watts. Let's give it some more time to adapt. So you can see that here my Honor Magic 4 Pro is at 1% charge, so this should be ideal conditions for it to charge at high speed. And as we can see here, it says that it is PD, 10 watt charging, 11, and it's now starting to ramp up. So as that ramps up, you'll see that we're going all the way up to 15, 18 watts, 20 watts. So we've already overtaken the speeds older Google Pixels charge at, which is 18 watts, and it's now up at 20. So here it says that it's supercharging. So maybe the Honor Magic 4 Pro's proprietary charging method is not ideal for this test. Let's try the Honor, in this case the Honor 70, which is another smartphone for Honor that supports rapid charging, in this case up to 66 watts. And as we can see, we've got Honor powered by Android. Even before the phone's fully turned on, it's already pulling 6 watts through this port. And in this case, we're going to plug in my Google Pixel 7 Pro, which supports up to 30 watt charging. And we'll see what the combined charging of these three devices is. So as things stand at the moment, let me move the charger back a little. So we have the Honor 70 is charging at 11 watts. The Honor Magic 4 Pro is charging at 22 watts. And the Google Pixel 7 Pro is charging at 16. So cumulatively, we're looking at between 30 and 40 watts of charging from the three ports. Now this is using these specific cables. Now I think we've had a look at these. Next up, we're going to take some tablets and laptops and see how they take power from the device. Okay then, so I've removed the two ports that we're not going to be using for the next test. We're using the Matteo 100 watt cable with a little power indicator and plug that into my HP 360 laptop. HP EliteBook X360. So you see that just from the get-go, unlike the Honor Magic 4 Pro, it's already jumping up to 60 watts. So we're at 59 watts, 60, 66. It really is taking a lot more power than the phone was. That's because it's a bigger device. It has a little bit more power to it. And as you can see, it's taking 65 watts, which is the maximum this laptop can take at any given time. So really impressive to see that happening. And it stabilizes at between 60 and 65 watts, which is very, very impressive. See that there? Now whilst this is plugged in, I'm going to take the other PD cable and we're going to try and plug in another device and see what we can get out of that. So this is another 100 watt rated cable. I'm going to take the Google Pixel 6 Pro, or 7 Pro in this case, and see how much this bumps up. So at 8.1, it is saying that it's charging rapidly, but because the device is at a relatively high battery threshold, it's not going to go much more than 15 watts. Let's try, now that the laptop's plugged in and chugging along at around about 60 watts, how the Honor Magic 4 Pro behaves. So it is marked as supercharging. In the background we have 65 watts on the laptop, and this is charging PD at 18 watts as well. And just to add to what we're putting through the device, let's take this other cable and plug into the Honor 70, which is in a low battery state. So whilst all three devices are on at the same time, we're getting 39, between 35 and 40 watts, plus 20 watts, plus 10. So that takes us to around about 70 watts charging. Now, I have actually run out of devices that are thirsty enough to use this, but according to Voltme's rating, and in optimal conditions, you should be able to charge a laptop, a tablet and a phone with a maximum output of 140 watts. Obviously 140 watts will only be from the one main port, but to go over the actual performance, you can see here that the top port on the Voltme REVO 140 will take 140 watts in optimal conditions. So you need a properly thirsty laptop or machine to take that power. The second USB Type-C port on its own will deliver 100 watts, and the USB-A port on its own will deliver up to 22.5 watts. So that's close to Samsung's super fast charging. So that's each port individually. Next up, the combination of two USB Type-C ports. You'll have 65 watts and 65 watts. So that's a total of 130 watts just from the USB Type-C power delivery ports. If you were to take USB-A and one of the two USB Type-C, you'll get 100 watts from the USB Type-C port and 22.5 from the USB-A port. So around about 122.5 watts. And if you were to use all three at the same time with three devices that can take the load, you have 65 watts plus 45 plus 22. So that takes you almost all the way up to 140 watts. So from what I've seen, it does work, but you need to have compatible devices. As we saw, my laptop takes the full 65 watts when it's hungry. The charger itself is relatively chunky, as you'd expect from a device that will power multiple devices. But this is not too dissimilar in size to, say, the power brick a lot of laptops come with, especially power delivery ones. So I think for travel, this is ideal if you want to avoid carrying multiple devices, and it also has the advantage that it's relatively compact. Obviously, if you're traveling abroad, you might need a plug adapter. I usually, if I'm going for a longer period of time, will take this AOFO multi-power adapter, which takes multiple different types of plugs, but just one adapter for the country I'm traveling to. That gives me plenty of options for charging. But this Voltme REVO 140 looks like a good device that works well. And after these few minutes of testing, these few minutes of running the device, it hasn't heated up at all. It feels nice and cool. That's one of the benefits of gallium nitride chargers, or in this case, GAN 3, the third 0.1 iteration of the standard, which is rapidly becoming what is replacing the old traditional silicon-based ones. Anyway, thanks to Voltme for sending us this review device. I will carry on using this. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. As we saw, I don't have any devices that will be able to pull the power as needed to demonstrate the full 140 watts pull, but with the devices we have, it performed relatively well, between 60 and 100 watts of pull from all three ports, so I'm very happy with that. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, pretty much anything we think makes the travel experience better. But for now, thanks for watching. If you like this video, drop us a like. Thanks to Voltme for sending us the review device, and goodbye from me.